Welcome back. My voice is going a little bit, so forgive me. So this video is just on prior knowledge that you guys have learned that will be helpful in Chapter 3. So the first part is, knowing are these two equations equivalent? And that means x equals the same thing. So I want to solve both of them. So my first one is x plus 4 equals 10, and x minus 1 equals 3. So I want to be able to tell if they're equivalent. So if I solve this first one for x, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Because remember, I do the opposite in order to get it to the other side. So then I'm left with x plus 4 and minus 4 cancel, equals 10 minus 4, which is 6. So x equals 6 here. Now I'm going to solve this one. X minus 1 equals 3. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And when I say both sides, I mean both sides of the equal. And then I get x minus 1 and plus 1 cancel, equals 3 plus 1, which is 4. So x equals 6 here and x equals 4 here. So these two are not equivalent. So the answer is no. And then my next one here. So I'm asking, is 1/5 x equal to 4 equivalent to x equals 20? So this one, x is already by itself, so I don't have to do any manipulating to that one. Here I have 1/5 times x equals 4. Sorry if you can't tell, that's a 4. So to get rid of a 1/5, I can multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 5 over 1. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do the other side of the equals. So 1/5 times 5, that just all cancels out to be 1. So I'm just left with x equals 4 times 5 over 1, which would just be 20, over 1, which is still just 20. So these two are equivalent because x equals 20 both times. Okay. The next section is asking me to write an equation to represent the following. Sorry, you guys can't see all that directions there. It says a wall has a width of w feet and length of 2w feet. Write an equation for the perimeter P. So it's asking me to find the perimeter. So that's my question piece here. And then if I read this again, it says a wall has a width of w feet and a length of 2w feet. And it wants me to write an equation for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is remember perimeter means I'm adding up all the sides. And then I'm going to draw a nice little picture here. So my width is w, so that means this side is also w, because I know in a rectangle those sides are equivalent. And then my length is 2w. Okay. So perimeter means I'm taking this side, plus this side, plus this side, plus this side. So I have w plus 2w plus w plus 2w. And they said set it equal to p. P stands for perimeter. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. So because all of these are w's, and there's an invisible 1 in front, I can add those. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus another 1 is 4, plus another 2 is 6. So I get 6w. So that's the equation to find the perimeter of this particular rectangle. Go ahead and pause it if you need to catch up. I'm going to take a drink. I'm in a different location, so I'm getting used to how everything's laid out. So the next section that we want to recall is solving algebraic equations. So if I look at this equation, 4x plus 7 equals 3x plus 14. I notice that I have some x's with coefficients on both sides, and I have constants on both sides. So the first thing is I want to get the x's together. And also notice on this side I can't combine any like terms, and this side I also cannot combine any like terms. So I'm going to move my smaller x over to my bigger x. Then I don't have to deal with so many negative numbers. So I'm going to subtract negative 3x from both sides of my equals. Now 4x minus 3x just gives me x. The plus 7 comes along for the ride, equals 3x minus 3x cancels, equals 14. So now my whole goal in these problems is to get x by itself. So the only thing stopping x from being by itself is this plus 7. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides of my equals. So I get x, the 7 and minus 7 cancel, equals 14 minus 7, which is 7. So we get x equals 7. Now the beautiful thing about algebra is I can check to make sure my answer is right. Okay, so I'm going to perform a check. So I'm going to rewrite the original equation, which was 4x plus 7 equals 3x plus 14. Now my claim is that x equals 7. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a parentheses and a 7. So I have 4 times 7 plus 7 equals 3 times 7 plus 14. And now I'm going to work each side to see if I get the same answer. 4 times 7 gives me 28 plus 7 equals 21 plus 14. So 3 times 7 is 21. And if I add up both sides, 28 plus 7 gives me 35, and 21 plus 14 gives me 35. So I know, in fact, that x does equal 7 because 35 does equal 35. So this is to check my work. So on a test, you should know if you got the answer right or wrong because you can check your work and make sure you did it right. If this had not been the right answer, I would have gone back and checked my work. Okay. Another solving one. So I have 1/3 v equals 2 minus 2/9 v. This is a v, not a check mark. Okay, so again, I notice on this side of my equals, I don't have any like terms to combine, and this side as well, I do not have any like terms. But I do notice I have a v on each side. So since this v doesn't have anything added or subtracted to it, I'll move my 2/9 v over. Plus then all my v's become positive. But you can move it in whichever direction you want. So I now have 1/3 v plus 2/9 v equals 2. And now I notice that I need a common denominator. So my common denominator will be 9. So I need to multiply this top and bottom by 3. So I get 3/9 v plus 2/9 v equals 2. And so I get 5/9 v equals 2. So now I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Because now 9 and 9 cancel to be 1, and 5 and 5 cancel to be 1. So I get v equals, this is multiplication, 2 times 9 is 18 over 5. And again, I'll keep this video short, but you should plug this back into my equation and make sure it actually works. Which it in fact does. Okay, you can also write this as a mixed number if you so choose. 5 goes into 18 3 times with 3 left over, and 5 is that. So either way is acceptable answer. I hope this video worked out for you, and we will talk again tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.